is the last chapter 11 lesson for this week. Tomorrow you're going to be doing the mid-chapter checkpoint. So let's finish up strong. Lesson 11.4 is about three-dimensional figures. So what we're going to be able to do today is we're going to be able to take our work with polygons into the third dimension and learn how to classify three-dimensional figures. So for Unlock the Problem today, we're going to talk about some pretty fancy words here. A solid figure has three dimensions. We've got length, we've got width, and we've got height. Okay? We're going to talk about a new word today, which is called polyhedrons. A polyhedron, okay, are things like prisms and pyramids, and we're going to learn about them today. They are three-dimensional figures that have faces that are polygons. Okay, so first we're going to start talking about with a prism. Okay, and a prism is a type of a polyhedron that has two congruent polygons as their bases. Okay, so a polyhedron's lateral face, that means on the sides, the lateral faces are polygons and they connect with the bases. So the lateral faces of prisms are always rectangles. Okay, so here is a quick little diagram to basically show you what the heck we're talking about here. So a prism has two bases and they're in the shape of a polygon of some kind. So this is a base and this is a base. And what shape do you see that it's taking? It's a triangle. Then it's got these lateral faces that are always shaped like rectangles that separate the two bases, or they connect the two bases. Okay? So this would be what we call a triangular prism because this prism's base is shaped like a triangle. So when we classify prisms, which is going to be the first thing that we do, what we do is we identify the base shape. So you look at the base and you decide what shape it is, and then that's what we use to name the prism. Off to the side, you're going to use this list of prisms. I think on your homework, you don't have to say what type of a prism it is. I think you just have to say that it's a prism. Okay, so, but this is what you can look at if you need, especially for this section here. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the shape of the base. We're going to say what that is, and then we're going to use that to name the prism. So for our first one, I've got, let me use my pink to make it stand out. I've got this top and this bottom here as my bases. That is the shape of a rectangle. And so if I check out my list, that's going to be a rectangular prism. Now, if I was just deciding whether or not this was a prism, all I would have to do was notice I have two bases that are the same shape. They're equal, and they're separated by rectangle faces, so to speak. The next. So I know this is a prism because I have a shape on the top and a shape on the bottom that are equal. They're the same shape. Those are my bases, and it's separated or connected by these rectangles. So this shape is, count the sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a pentagon, or the base shape is a pentagon. And checking out the types of prisms, that's going to be called a pentagonal prism. How fancy is that? Okay. Moving on. My next shape, again, I know it's a prism because I've got a shape up here as my base and the same shape below as my other base, and they are connected or separated, however you want to think of it, by these rectangular lateral faces. So if you count, you have 6 sides. That means this is a hexagon, the base shape. So to name the prism, if you haven't noticed yet, you're basically adding an AL or something like that to the end. So this is, as you may have predicted, hexagonal prism. Fancy schmancy. Hexagonal prism. Okay, and last but not least, I know it's a prism. I've got this shape up top, the same congruent shape at the bottom, the two bases. They are connected by these rectangular lateral faces. This is an octagon. Once you count the sides, you'll see there's 8. And that makes this an octagonal prism. Okay? And that's how we classify our prisms. The next thing we're going to deal with are pyramids. Now, pyramids are still polyhedrons, okay, because they have a base that's the shape of a polygon. But this time, there is not a second base on the other side. This time, the lateral faces are always triangles, okay? And they connect at the top. So a pyramid doesn't always have a base that's a triangle. So a lot of people, when they first learn about pyramids, are surprised to hear that. But a pyramid can actually have any shape as its base. What makes a pyramid is that its faces or its sides are all shaped like triangles, and then they meet at the tippity top. Pink. Okay? So when we identify a pyramid, we notice that it's got a base, any shape, and then it's got sides or the lateral faces. Like when we did the prisms, they were all rectangles. Well, with a pyramid, the sides or the lateral faces are all triangles, and they meet at the top. So we're going to do the same thing as before, except we're talking about these as pyramids. So we have another little chart here that tells us how to name our pyramids. Okay? So first we're going to look at the base. So this one's already outlined or colored in for you, so to speak. I don't know why I said so to speak. It's colored in for you. This base is a triangle. And I'm using the pink again. This is a triangle. So this type of a pyramid would be a triangular pyramid. Okay. I need to put a piece of paper under here. Hold on. Because I'm writing on my placemat in my dining room. Okay. Next, this base shape is either a rectangle or a square, and we can't tell because we don't have the measurements. So what we're going to do is we're going to just write rectangle or square for now because we don't know. So that means that this pyramid would be either rectangular or square pyramid. Okay, so it's either rectangular or square pyramid. And when you are classifying them yourself, I think you just have to say if it's a pyramid or not. Okay? And now finally, this last one that we've got here, if you take a look at this base, it's a pentagon. There's 5 sides. So that's going to be a pentagonal pyramid. Okay? Okay, that's how you classify pyramids. Now we've only got one more little section here, and these are non-polyhedrons. So you can have 3-dimensional shapes that have curved surfaces, okay? These do not count as polyhedrons, okay? So the first one is called a cone. It's got a circular base and a curved surface. So you want to think of your ice cream cone, and the base is a circle. It doesn't count as a pyramid, right? Because you don't have triangular sides that are meeting at the top because the base is a circle, so you can't have different sides. It's just one curvy piece. The next one is a cylinder. So a cylinder you might think of as a prism because it's got the 2 bases, but technically it's not. It's its own thing. It does have two equal bases and it's separated by something, but it's not separated by rectangles, okay? So a cylinder has two congruent circular bases and one curved surface. So think about a cup, a can of soda, a can of soup, etc. And then finally we have a sphere. So a sphere is really just a circle, but it's in 3D. So a sphere has no bases and it's just got one curved surface. So we're thinking of a ball, basically. Okay, so these are the three separate ones. So when you classify, you're going to be classifying whether it's a prism, a pyramid, and then you also have these three options: a cone, a cylinder, or a sphere. And on your homework, I think you do state whether or not the pyramids and the prisms are triangular, rectangular, octagonal, all that stuff. So make sure you have your charts handy. Okay, so I'm going to do the first three and then I'll let you do the last three. We're going to classify each of these figures. We're going to state whether they are prisms, pyramids, cones, cylinders, or spheres. So for the first one, you have to keep in mind that sometimes we don't have our shape or our figure standing up straight. Sometimes it might look like it's on the side. So always want to be careful with this. This is kind of hard to tell. What is it? Is it a pyramid? Is it a prism? You know, if it's a pyramid, all of the sides have to be triangles and it has one base. If it's a prism, it has two bases, right? And they're separated by rectangles. So sometimes that's on the side. In the pictures that we saw in the lesson, it was always top to bottom. But if you look carefully here, you have a triangle base here and another triangle base, and it's separated by rectangles. So this is actually a prism. And if we were going to be very specific, this would be a triangular prism. Okay? Next, this one's super easy. This is a sphere. Okay? It doesn't count as a prism or a pyramid. It's a non-polyhedron. Number 3, hopefully you can see that this is definitely going to be a pyramid, but now we're going to classify it. Okay, take a look at the base and see how many sides it has. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a pyramid, and for this question they weren't asking us to classify specifically, but I'm going to write it in parentheses. This would be hexagonal pyramid. Okay. So now I'd like for you guys to pause, try these 3 by yourself, unpause, and check your answer. Okay, kiddos, here's the solutions. Number 4 is a pentagonal prism. So on the side, I jotted down how I knew that it was a prism. It has 2 bases, same shape, and it has the rectangle sides. And I should really be calling them faces, but I'm trying to make it a little easier for you. So this would be a pentagonal prism. Number 5 has 1 base and the sides are triangles, so that's a pyramid. The base is a pentagon, so it's a pentagonal pyramid. And number 6 is a cylinder. It's got those 2 circle bases separated by a height. Okay, that's it, guys. Remember, you have your charts. You can use them anytime you're at home. Keep them handy. And when you're classifying on your homework, I did double check after I paused the video there, and you do have to say for numbers 10 through 15 on that's on your own, sorry, hold on the numbers, what was it, I just had it in front of me, for numbers 4 through 9, yes, 4 through 9 you are going to be specifically naming the figure. So that means based on the base, so whatever shape the base is, you name it like that. Okay. All right, guys, have fun with your 3D figures.